insert the name.
I,
I, Nolan Snyder,
Solemnly swear that I will support
solemnly swear that I will
solemnly
support
swear that I
the
will support
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the
Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the charters and ordinances of the City of Loveland,
and the charters and ordinances of the City of Loveland,
and obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and faithfully discharge the duties of Parks and Recreation Board member,
will faithfully discharge the duties of Parks and Recreation Board member,
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter. I need to date it.
You already signed it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did you? Use one of them too. Using yourself.
I did. That's good.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Don't say
Sure.
Plenty of
witnesses. And it's a 19 today.
You sure?
They've got like.
So this, and I'll just, last thing I have to do is just,
Show price.
we have nominations for 3 separate positions. So first of all, accept nominations for chairman.
I'm nominating Doug to be the chairman.
Is there a second? Chris seconds. Well, right now, we'll call to order. Sorry. So organized. Do a quick call of members for Doug to be the chairman. Nolan Schneider. Yes, yay or nay?
Yay.
Doug Hearn.
Yes.
Chris Redmond.
Yes.
Grant Galloway.
Yes.
John Hart.
Yes.
Okay. I'm done. Doug, you can take it. You can do the next 2.
Okay. Any nominations for vice chair?
I'll nominate Chris Redmond as vice chair.
I'll second.
You,
Call the roll.
Nolan Snyder.
Yes.
Doug Hearn. Yes. Chris Redmond.
Yes.
Grant Galloway. Yes. And
John Hart.
John Hart.
Yes.
I'm nervous. Sorry. I'm nervous.
You're fine, man. Sherry's a pretty critical audience out there. So.
Once I do this once, and I'll get maybe relax.
You're good, man.
And then for secretary.
All right. Nominations for secretary.
This is always the one nobody wants. Sherry did a good job when she was secretary.
Do you
Yes.
want it? All right. I'll nominate Grant Galloway.
I'll second. Nolan Snyder.
Yes.
Doug Hearn. Yes. Chris Redmond.
Yes.
Grant Galloway. Yes.
And
And
what's his name?
Oh, what's his name down here?
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Grant. Chris will help you, like where you can go to the video to fill in the gaps.
Yes, so we actually got first Sherry wasn't able to have the new system that we did, but now it actually generates AI. Not perfect, but
Mhm.
Sure.
Sweet.
All right. So I guess we do roll call next. Or-
Yeah.
Okay. So you just say here who's present. So Nolan Snyder.
Here.
Doug Hearn. Here. Chris Redmond.
Here.
Grant Galloway. Here. And John Hart.
And just like a point of oil, Grant, from now on you'll do all those roles as the secretary.
Okay. Next is the open forum. I believe we have one.
Oh, sorry, Chris. It didn't get plugged back in.
It's pretty sweet. I was trying to figure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Being secretary.
Good evening and welcome new members of the Parks and Rec Board. My name is Sherry Hamlin, 118 Cannonade Drive, and I am the former chair and secretary of this board. And I can say that serving on this board was a great honor. The work this committee does matters. The impact you have on our community is real and lasting. While I am no longer serving on this board, my passion for our parks has not changed. Loveland's parks are one of the defining elements of our community identity. They are where families gather, children learn, where neighbors meet, and where healing, both physical and emotional, begins. During my time on the board, I believe we were making steady incremental progress toward elevating our parks from good to great. That momentum is important, and I hope it continues. I care about seeing the progress sustained, and I will continue to follow the work of this board with interest and encouragement. There are two specific projects that I remain particularly passionate about. First, signage at Tomahawk Trail. This topic was discussed by this board at a couple of meetings during my tenure, and while reviewing tonight's material, I did not see it listed. And I respectfully ask that the discussion continue and that it be considered again within the CIP plan. When I reviewed the original plat of the Heights community, Tomahawk Trail appears to be the oldest designated park in Loveland. Growing up here, I remember prominent signage marking that space. It carried stature and identity. Today, many of our parks and nature preserves have signage that reflects their importance and history. Tomahawk Trail deserves that same recognition. It deserves to stand proudly among other parks in our system. Secondly, the steps at the West Loveland Nature Preserve. This is Chris's favorite topic, I know. These steps provide access from the Hidden Creek subdivision. This item does appear on the CIP list, and I appreciate that. However, it has been approximately 6 years that improvements to those steps has been discussed. Those steps are steep. The asphalt is broken and jagged, moss accumulates, there are no handrails, and as someone who walked those trails during my own rehabilitation after I broke my leg, I can tell you exactly where I had to stop, and it was the base of those steps. I couldn't maneuver them safely. So this is not about aesthetics, although that's a bonus. It is absolutely about safety and accessibility. Our natural spaces should be welcoming and usable by residents of varying ages and physical abilities. I respectfully ask that improvements to those steps remain a priority and that after years of discussion, meaningful progress begins. You have the opportunity to shape the daily lives, lived experiences of our residents. The Comprehensive Master Development Plan speaks clearly about connectivity, open space preservation, and strengthening our parks network. That work happens here through your recommendations and stewardship. I may no longer sit behind the dais for this committee, but I remain invested in the outcome, and I believe in this board, and I believe in our parks, and I will continue to cheer you on and thoughtfully observe the progress that I know this committee is capable of achieving. Thank you for your service on this board, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you've done for the city and the parks. So, as far as I know, we talked about maybe 3 meetings ago, possibly doing something as a temporary type for the steps, possibly just like a rope type railing. Is there any ideas or any thoughts on that?
To be honest with you, it's just through the winter, wasn't real advantageous. CJ Carr is who I mentioned to have a look at it. He's actually on a project. He'll be starting a project here in a couple weeks at the Bronner Garage. So I'll grab him and his son that works with him. I'll grab them and take them over there. So I'll have an idea if we can do something short term by the next meeting. So I apologize not getting that done, but just through the winter, didn't really have great opportunity to get there. But we'll get eyes on it, try to get something temporarily done.
Okay. Thank you. And then as far as the signs at Tomahawk Trail, is that in the
We
works?
haven't gotten any prices or sizes together yet on that.
Okay.
So we can take some pictures so people can have a perspective of where it would go and what size would fit.
Okay. Is that something that the city would take pictures or?
No, yeah, the city would.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Nope.
All right. So I guess we'll review and approval for the minutes from November 17th.
Yeah, Nola and Grant, you would just abstain.
Abstain.
Move to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second those.
Okay. Minutes approved. And we'll go into old
We
business.
got to vote on that.
Oh, okay. My bad.
You're good.
Nolan Snyder.
Yeah.
No, you would abstain.
Yes, abstain.
I would have what?
You would abstain because you weren't
Oh.
here.
Oh,
Right. I
That's
wasn't
right. Sorry.
I abstained from that.
Okay. Doug Hearn, I approve. Chris Redmond.
Yes.
Brent
Abstain.
Galloway,
Abstain.
And John Hart.
Yep.
Old business. We have the annual park evaluations. So this is still a little new to me, but Sherry did a great job on putting the forms together last year for us to have a different way of evaluating. I guess at some point we need to pick parks for each member to go out and kind of do an evaluation. Was there a timeline on when that's supposed to be done?
So typically, we like to get. It's nice to have it done by the end of April,
Okay.
at the latest, just so we can get moving on stuff. Because weather starts to break then. You know, if let's see, this is end of February, so you guys will meet again sometime March, April. So at the by the next meeting would be good
To have them completed or?
to have the evaluations completed.
Okay. Okay. So then I guess today we want to assign the parks to members. Does that sound?
Which ones should we eliminate from that? I mean, obviously, like Nisbet.
I mean, there's to lighten your load a little bit. I mean, right now technically you could probably avoid Nisbet just because between the amphitheater, the walking trail, and the other I'm not trying to tell you to avoid it, but what isn't new is basically being repaired.
Right.
And just to make it easier on you, that's probably one that you could probably more than welcome to go to it. But I think Chris and I are over there twice a week, and but the rest of them, if you want, we could just send you a real quick list, and you guys can sort of talk among yourself on how you want to do it. We have a pretty good list of each park and a pretty good map too, and that might save you all the time tonight to figure it out. But
Dave, what parks have you guys done a lot of work in here recently? I feel like McCoy's got a bunch.
McCoy is the one that was really the focus of the city before we moved to Nisbet. We really went all in on that. Lever Park this year is getting its courts redone, and we've made some significant improvements to the softball fields.
And the bathrooms.
Yeah, and the bathroom was done in Lever, and the bathroom was done in McCoy. That bathroom pretty much put McCoy in a all but pretty much complete state. And then and both of the tot lots have got, for lack of a better word, brand new tot lots, thanks to Dale Eats. Navajo has a fence around it. Just running around. Kiwanis is this is where the dog park is. The dog park's pretty much wrapped up. We just recently did the canine improvement on the canine improvement up there at the Havercamp Dog Park.
You guys are getting ready to do Phillips, right? Phillips
Phillips
for
we submitted a grant for a complete and total redo of the restrooms at Phillips. Actually feel pretty good about that one. We made a presentation downtown in front of the Cincinnati Port Authority. It sort of felt good. We learned a little lesson to sort of quit asking for the world. There's a lot more communities in Hamilton County. It's a lot more competitive. So our state rep was at that particular meeting, and she I think she went out of the way to ask me a question. Was nobody usually asks questions, so that was a nice gesture, I think, on her behalf. I know she's going to be supporting that project. So I don't really want to tell you not to go somewhere because I'm not trying to make you avoid it. So I'll just send you the list.
That sounds
Like Sherry said, they've come a long way in the 12 years that we've been here. Lever's probably one that could use a little, even though the restrooms are good. Fencing, the courts, the parking lot. I mean, it means, you know, we may not see a drinking fountain that's a piece of crap that could use a nice once over. I sort of envision veterans being involved in what we're going to do in the big look at the new Schildemeyer Park. I'm still running my head all around town a little bit at the parks, but
We had a bunch of like concrete tables at Phillips, right? We were going to repurpose those to other places. Have you kind of
yeah, actually,
thought
I'm
about
meeting
what-
with some 4th grade Girl Scouts next week. They want to do a service project, thanks to John, where they want to go and paint the picnic tables down in the West Level Nature Preserve, clean them and paint them. Sherry knows, we get those kind of requests. We send them into the parks. If you see anything, you just do it. Then Chris logs it. Chris works with Sean, and then Chris updates you throughout the entire year on every little item that you did. Some may say so big it's a CIP project, and some he'll get right on it with Sean.
I think it's a good idea if you wanted to send a list out, and then we can kind of pick and choose from between us, if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah.
And then as far as the evaluation, do you have the PDF, or is there access for me to have the PDF for everybody? So
Chris has it.
okay, and that way we can
Yeah,
print our own copies. If that's okay.
yeah, you should be able to. Yeah, I'll send it. I'll send it out. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's also you can also print it off the agenda packet
Okay,
if you want. But
Yeah.
I'll resend it.
that's true.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
In the past, we've taken pictures and stuff of the things at the parks that we've worked at. Is that helpful to do something like that for you guys, Public Works, to repair?
I think for the most part, honestly, you guys give enough description that
That'll be okay.
yeah, they're not. It's not like these parks are crazy expansive where we don't know where you're talking about. But typically, if you tell us, you know, yeah,
Okay.
it's helpful. Absolutely, but I think normally it's fine. If I have a question, I'll come ask.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, and then we kind of went over, or you want to elaborate on the CIP workshop or worksheet? Sorry.
Yeah, so obviously we did some work out at Lever. I do have that crossed off, but we're going to be obviously keeping an eye on that this spring and see where that falls. You know, see if there's anything more we need to do. Nisbet and Phillips, the bathroom. So you got bathroom upgrades at Nisbet, Phillips. You got the bathroom and shelter upgrades. Those are both in for grants. So we'll be hearing about those hopefully sometime this year. So we'll keep you updated on that. Like I said, I'm committing to this month getting out there to Hidden Creek with CJ Carr to look at that. I'm getting quotes from a couple different vendors for these like type of shade things that would go over the benches at Navajo and Cherokee Tot Lot. And then the others I haven't looked into too much. The lighting, actually, I just met with. I had a conversation with Cindy Kessler about lighting the other day about some stuff. So I'm kind of glad I talked to her because I want to be smart about where we put lighting there. If we do it, I want to make it not overdo it over there. So we're going to continue to look at it, but no movement on that right now.
Does anybody have any questions about these?
what all's left to do at Nisbet? Is it just the bathrooms?
Yeah, well, that
Just punchless
that
items?
would be in the. You want to go on with the next item then, Doug?
I could read ahead.
So this is we just took the CIP that we presented to council and sort of customized it just for parks. So I try to always put when it's grant dependent, but so we submitted to for Hamilton County capital budget to do the roof, a painting, the roof, paint the building, all new fixtures, new tables, bottle filler for the parents because there's so many sports up there. Complete redo of the restrooms. City Council funded. We got both of the McCoy and Lever on a cycle. So this is the year for Lever to get the courts done. As Chris will tell you as an engineer, will tell you that once they go real quick. Once they get alligator. So we did McCoy 2 years ago, and then we're doing Lever this year. For what it's worth, that's picture as McCoy. And then we submitted for what's called a land water conservation grant through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. We're going to find out next week. That would do some of the outlying items at Nisbet, the lighting along the walking path, sort of what you see over in the parking lot, mixture of bollards and higher lights, complete restroom renovation, a hardy plank and a stone along the exterior, and all new toilets and inside. Floor inside is in good shape. There's some other things. If you ever get bored and you want to look at the Nisbet Park Master Plan, there was this plan, and we're advancing the sidewalk portion of that, where we'll see people come into Nisbet from the Carl Brown entrance. So there's an entryway there, and then Chris got one of the adult swing, and we wanted to put in another adult swing. So that was $182,000. We submitted for 75% of that. And then
Hey, run Nisbet real quick. I'm sorry. Do we have an anticipated date or window for the amphitheater yet?
yeah, Chris will tell you when it's going out to bid.
Monday.
Monday.
So it's going out to bid Monday. We're talking about the amphitheater, right? I didn't hear. Okay. Yeah, it'll go out to bid Monday. It'll be on the street for 3 weeks, bid period. So that is somewhere, I think March 24th is the bid opening. And then it'll probably take a week to review bids. And then it'll be brought in front of council at that point. So the hope is to get mobilization by the end of April. That will be tough, but that's the hope. And then it's about a 6-month project. I haven't nailed down the exact substantial completion date yet, but I'm getting some input from a construction manager to make sure I get it right, because in our contracts we do have a stipulation of liquidated damages when they don't meet the guideline or the deadline. And then you also got to be careful on that when you're putting in the deadline, what the deadline is. If you try to escalate that too quick, your pricing is gonna go up, like anything. So yeah, to answer it, going out to bid Monday.
6-month completion on that, huh? Once it comes back, wow.
I don't think it's gonna take 6 months, but that's what we're gonna be.
All right, I got
That's what the engineer has recommended. So.
They'll do the excavation pretty quick, but so
But I think that just to answer that question, I'm sorry, but some of that, some of the amphitheater itself, it's the actual making of it off-site sort of thing, constructing the metal and whatnot.
I got
So
you.
there's the time you're going to see, and this is where people get frustrated. They don't see people working, but it's just the way things work. Sometimes you got to wait for something to get made before you can bring it to the site. So you will see some of that, and that's just how it works.
It's like making a light post off site to put a signalization on. Something like that.
Real nice.
Just poke the bear every once in a while just for fun.
So we just found out we were awarded the grant to buy the Schildemeyer property. Once council approves it, we have to go through the acquisition of the property, the selling of the easement to the Little Miami Conservancy, and then the removal of the existing structure. But then what we're going to propose to council is to create a master plan just for that area, sort of like what we did for Nisbet. So Chris and I have met with a couple planning firms that we think would do a good job. Like people we've never used before, some fresh eyes on it, and then so we would go to council to get that authorized, and then you guys would be a part of that, just like Lisa Freeman and the parks were a big part of Nisbet. So that is there's a lot of paperwork and to get that done, but so that's a good job deal. And we submitted for capital budget in the Claremont County side for a complete redo of the play set at Nisbet. Not only is it more of a signature feature, but the turf, the synthetic turf, would you really can't say a mulch play set is ADA compliant. It just isn't. Maybe it is the day it went in. So this would really make that a signature feature. It's been submitted through actually state capital budgets in Claremont County. It's submitted to 3 different people, and they all have different forms. And then Chris just talked about the amphitheater. Out of nowhere, we got a request for a federal appropriation for a project in Claremont County, and we're submitting a request to do the Gateway Park, which is the redo of the former mobile site. Writing the narratives, you really, I got to tell you, it's a good story. It's a pretty good story from where it was and how much of basically it was a brownfield. And so it's a sort of cool story to think that it'll go. If you look at that picture, it'll go from the one extreme to the other. I don't know how this will go. The grant was due April 13th, and it was due March 13th, and then they moved it to March 6th. So a big part of these grants are letters. We've gotten quite a few so far. Many more coming in. We reach out to the county. We reach out to OKI. We reach out to our state reps. Businesses will write letters. This really only has a chance if you can tie it to economic development. So the business letters are sort of structured that way. It's funny. It was the first letter we got when we reached out to all the businesses, graders across the street. I think they see this as I'm talking graders corporate, and they understand how important this is. That just like it was how important it was to get to sidewalks. Chris worked with the railroad to get that gating system. That was the whole idea, to get people to move that way. So if nothing else, graders knows we're trying, because I know that it's lean in the winter. They know we're trying, so that it would really be a great score. This isn't going to be the only funding source for this project. We're already working with the Ohio Valley Regional Development Commission for money for the Appalachian Region Commission, and we submitted an LOI in the fall. And this would be a 27 project, by the way, and so we're going to mirror up some of that and potentially some money from the sale of the fire station. But if we get this NUG, I really do think we'll be there to be together. That fountain that was added over the last couple of months, really, next time you're downtown Montgomery and you look to that fountain, think about that, saying City of Loveland, and sort of that feature. It will be a true gateway into the city. And if you think about the view from the different intersections, all but really one, the coming in, it's going to really be impressive. I'm not very much of a big thinker, but I didn't want tables. That's why the seating is in the wall. The tables are nice. We have them all over town.
Yeah.
We wanted this to be sort of unique. That's a lot of in there. But nothing against tables, but we wanted something really unique. And there's a monument space. Maybe there's a famous, I don't know. Now I'm just rambling. So that's that on that part. Sorry about that.
I would want to draw attention to one more thing on that park, though, is that when you said it was a brownfield, we had leaking gas tanks there. At the
We
mobile
not
station.
only had the old tank that was leaking, the day-to-day
and
tank
the
was
active
leaking.
tank was also leaking.
It was much like the Mirror Factory. The more they dug, the more the soil it was. And I'll tell you the way this works is this conversation, but the conversation with Buster, which is the Bureau of Underground Storage Tank Removal, was, I think I bought a you-know-what sandwich. And he said, if you'll agree to really follow everything, we'll help you with the funding. And there's some money left over that Chris and I are proposing to creative way to tie it into this. So it paid for the entire remediation, but you have to be all in.
Yeah.
And we got what's called our NFA, which stands for, that's EPA's way of saying you did what you're supposed to do. You now have a no further action. So,
I know Kent Blair was a giant fan of
Kent
getting
would
that
do
taken
it.
care of. So
yeah, Kent would always make sure. So,
Yeah. that was a really good project.
yeah, that picture will always stay. The before.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it, Doug.
All right. Well, thank you. And anybody have any questions on any of that? I think the city is putting a lot of effort into getting works and all that, so we appreciate that. All right. Communications. Is that anything on that? Okay. And then staff and committee comments. Anybody? All right, and then so I have a meeting to be adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
You got. It's you. Take the roll.
Oh.
Call roll.
Just call names.
Yep.
Nolan Slider.
Here.
Doug Arn.
Yes.
Chris Redmond.
Yes.
Grant Galloway. Yes. John Hart.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned.